இந்த மொழிகளை பாதுகாப்பதற்கான ஒரு மிகப்பெரிய மாநாடை யுஎன் ஐக்கிய நாடுகள் சபைகளும் யுனெஸ்கோ ஒருங்கிணைத்தது. அதற்காக ஆசியாவிலிருந்து தேர்ந்தெடுக்கப்பட்ட பிரதிநிதியாக, ஒருங்கிணைப்பு பிரதிநிதியாக அட்வொகேட் நிக்கோலஸ் மார்லா அவர்கள் அந்த பொறுப்பை எடுத்தார்கள். அதிலிருந்து அவர் சர்வதேச அளவிலும் பழங்குடிகள் குறித்தான செயல்பாடுகளில் இருப்பதை நாம் பார்க்கலாம். அதுபோக பல்வேறு அவர் சார்ந்திருக்கக்கூடிய கிறிஸ்துவ அமைப்புகளிலும் பழங்குடியினருக்கான துறைகளிலே அவர் பொறுப்பு வகிக்கிறார். குறிப்பாக கடந்த வருடம் மத்திய அரசு, கடந்த கால மத்திய அரசு, பாரதிய பழங்குடியினர் நலத்துறை அமைச்சராக இருந்த ஜோல் ஓரம் என்கிற மத்திய அமைச்சரோடு நெருங்கிய தொடர்பில் இருந்தவர். அவரோடு சேர்ந்து பல்வேறு முக்கிய முடிவுகள் எடுக்கப்பட்டார். அவரோடு இணைந்து அவரோடு அது மாதிரியான நிறைய ஆட்கள் உள்ள ஒரு பன்முக திறமை வாய்ந்த மரியாதைக்குரிய நிக்கோலஸ் மார்லாஜி இன்று நம்மளோடு உரையாற்ற இருக்கிறார்கள். அவரை தமிழ் சமூகத்திற்கு அறிமுகப்படுத்துவது நான் பெருமையாக இருக்கிறேன். நான் ஃபாதர் நிக்கோலஸ் மார்லா பேசுவதற்கு முன்பாக கோவை மாவட்டம் ஆழியாறு, பொள்ளாச்சி அருகே உள்ள ஆழியார் பழங்குடியின மாணவர்கள் இன்று சுதந்திர தினத்தை முன்னிட்டு அவர்கள் ஒரு பாடலை பாடுவதற்காக தயாராக இருக்கிறார்கள். அவர்களை இந்த நிகழ்ச்சியை பாட ஆரம்பிக்குமாறு அன்போடு கேட்டுக்கொள்கிறேன். பிரபு, அருண், பிரபு, ஹரி பாடலாமா? பிரபு ரெடியாமா? பிரபு ரெடியா?
பிரபு அன்மியூட் பண்ணிக்கங்க. பிரபு மியூட்ல இருக்கீங்க.
பிரபு அன்மியூட் பண்ணிட்டு ஆரம்பிங்க. அவர் ட்ரைபல் பிரபு ரெடியா?
ரெடிங்கண்ணா, ரெடிங்கண்ணா.
அனைவருக்கும் இனிய மாலை வணக்கம். நாங்க 74வது இனிய சுதந்திர தின நல்வாழ்த்துக்கள். நாங்க இப்போ கொடி பாடல் பாட போறோம். தாயே மணிக்கொடி பாடி அதை தாழ்ந்து பணிந்து புகழ்ந்திரவாரின் தாய் மணிக்கொடி பாடி ஓங்கி வளர்ந்ததோர் கம்பம் அதை உச்சி மேல்வதே மாதரம் என்று வீசி
Okay, this is the national flag song sung by tribal kids from nearby Coimbatore district. I'm welcome to Nicholas G. Jawar. I was really happy on this important day of 74th Independence Day. So we are waiting for a wonderful speech about the indigenous people and freedom struggle of India. So connection with well indigenous people. Thank you. Welcome.
Yeah. So greetings on the evening of India Independence Day, 15th August. And thank you very much, Thanaraj and all the team members for organizing this webinar on about the Adivasi history, about the Adivasi life in India, particularly in North India. Friends, I am from Odisha, and yeah, I worked last 30 years in Odisha, Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Bihar, West Bengal, Assam, Madhya Pradesh. So like this area, wherever Adivasis are there, I have worked with many of them, many groups, many activists like that. We are Adivasis, we are in the country, those who are called scheduled tribes. We are 8.6% of the total population, about 10 crores of population of the country. And also there is another big group. They are nomadic, semi-nomadic, notified and denotified tribes. So according to the Ministry of Social Justice, Government of India, they constitute another 11% of the total population of the country. Means they are almost another 11 or 12 crores. So almost 20% of the total population, maybe 20 to 25 crores of populations may come under the category of tribals, Adivasis, or indigenous peoples in this country. And yeah, we are not known much because we are not written in the history much. We are living in the forest on the top of the hills. So nobody comes to visit us, especially maybe particularly some sociologists, some anthropologists, or some officers. All these people, they come. Otherwise, they usually do not come. And we also do not go to the cities and towns much. But of course, the time has changed. And now our people also, they come to different cities. For instance, from Orissa, there are people in Kerala, in Tamil Nadu, in Chennai, in Delhi, in Mumbai. So different, slowly now we are coming. And therefore, it is important to know and understand about us, about Adivasis, about tribals, about indigenous peoples of this country. You know, my village is in the forest. You'll be surprised. There was no schools. Almost every day I had to walk 10 kilometers to reach my school. And from school to my home, another 10 kilometers I have to come back. So almost every day I had to walk 20 kilometers as a small child. So I didn't want to study actually. But somehow my good mother and my father, they made me understood. And then I went to school. Then afterwards I went to the hostel. And most of the life I spent in the hostel, and that way how I learned. And that's how I studied commerce in the graduation. Then when I was going village to village to study some of the social problems, some economics problems, then I saw so many problems are there in the villages and on the land rights and forest rights and all, because many companies, they were taking the land of the Adivasis. So there was so much of conflict between the companies and between the governments and all. So I thought good to study a law and understand the land rights, the tribal rights, the forest rights, and that way how we studied law. And I became a lawyer and I practiced few years in the court. Then the Adivasi situation is not so good. Economically, suppose we see, then it is not so good compared to other people. So then I also studied MBA, Master in Business Administration. So when I studied law, I tried to negotiate with organize the people and tried to negotiate with the companies, negotiate with the governments. I reported the matter to the collectors, governors, ministers. So that way how I raised the issues of the tribals. So in this process, I went several times to meet our governor in Bhubaneswar. I met several ministers, so many secretaries, and I used to tell about the pain and the stories about the tribals to the government. So in some cases, I used to be heard, and some places I was not heard. So that's how our struggle was. So now, as Thanaraj Bhai asked me to speak on the history of Adivasis in India and particularly in my area, my mind goes back to the history of 326 BC. If you remember, this is a very important event in the history of India. The Greek warrior Alexander, he came to India to attack India, and it attacked. And that time, one king was there, King Poros. In fact, he, according to the historian, he defeated Empire Alexander 2 times. But on the third time, because of some deception and all, some misunderstanding and all, he lost. But who was this King Poros is still to be discovered. So some of the historians, they say he was one of the tribal chief. And when I hear this history that he was a tribal chief, immediately I feel so proud that a tribal chief, he can defeat great Alexander 2 times, and third time, of course, he was captured and he lost his kingdom. But that is the history. Then afterwards, when I studied all the things in Mahabharata, Ramayana and all this, I came across, you must have also come across on Ekalavya history. Ekalavya was a very great warrior, no, like a warrior like Arjuna, even greater than Arjuna maybe. So when Dronacharya, he saw that Ekalavya is very expert in bow and arrow and shooting, he refused to teach him. And this Ekalavya, he was a tribal boy, most likely from the Bhil tribe in central India. So he said, let him not teach me, but let me make a statue, and he used to worship in his way, and he practiced bow and arrow, shooting. And you see, he used to be the expert shooter in those days. And seeing this, his skill and that expertise, Dronacharya asked him some gift. And Ekalavya said, whatever you ask, I will give you. And lo and behold, you know the history that Dronacharya very cleverly asked his right thumb. And why it was done? This is the mystery. So suppose you have this finger is gone, then you cannot hold the bow with your strength. So your entire strength, entire energy, and entire skill you will lose. And that's the history of Adivasis, my friends. And next we come King Ravana. King Ravana, you know, he was a great warrior again, but it is portrayed today as a Rakshasa. So that way, but the Adivasis, they worship and they look very highly to Ravana. So also Mahishasura. Mahishasura is known as a Rakshasa, but in some of the tribal groups, he is a great hero. He used to fight against his enemies and he used to defeat them. So enemies, they made him Rakshasa. So this was so many stories, so many this type of events, narrations we come through the history and different mythologies. So this is the history of all Adivasis. So one way, when I see entire thing, then what I experience, what I reflect is that we the Adivasis, we are not given proper opportunities. And if I was skilled, I was able, I was capable, my skills were taken and I was made disabled. And that's so, if we analyze everything step by step, then every step we see this is the history of Adivasis. And that's so my brothers, my sisters, they are in the villages. They have not yet good education. They have no facility for healthcare. They have no proper food. Still they are struggling. So this is the situation. And therefore it is important to study about the Adivasis. In India, see, we are, according to the government again, according to 2011 census, Adivasis are, scheduled tribes are, we are 705 groups. So 705 different languages, different socio-cultural background we are. In Tamil Nadu we are there, in Kerala we are also there, Karnataka we are so many, Maharashtra more than 1 crore, in Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Odisha, we are more than 3 crores. So many people are there. And therefore, because of this type of situation, we were pushed in the forest, and still we are in the forest. I belong to Orao tribe. We speak the Kuruk language. And this Kuruk language is associated with Dravidiya language. Some of the words, some of the meanings are similar. So this way how we are linked, but we are divided because of the states, because of the geographical area, because of the languages and different geographical regions. When I was studying in Pune, so there were many friends from Tamil Nadu, and I used to talk to understand their language, and some of the words I used to ask them, and they used to tell me. So then I understood that there are some words similar to my language, Kuruk, with some of the Dravidian languages. So I feel any Adivasi, any tribal, whether he is or she is in Tamil Nadu, or I am in Assam, or I am in Kashmir, or I am in other place, we are almost same group of people. So that's so there is a affinity and there is a fellow feeling among all the indigenous people, all the Adivasis in the country. Not only country, I also experience this same feeling and this type of thoughts. It matches with the Adivasis, those who are in Africa, those who are in America, those who are in Canada, those who are in Australia, those who are in New Zealand. So there is some similarity in thoughts, in behavior, and living. So that's the interconnectedness that the indigenous people we have got in the all over the world. So that's the beauty of Adivasis. And our socio-cultural life, you know, it is a very simple life. At home, our family people, we are so closely we are related. In the villages, each village, almost we know each one. Everybody we know about the village. We also know almost 10 kilometers or 15 kilometers radius, almost we know everybody. So that about closeness and relationship we have. So that's a beautiful thing that we the Adivasis have got. If there is a work, say we have to build a big pond. So we have the chief system, no? The elders. We have the chief, then his council, and this chief and council, they sit together, they talk about the problems, the different issues, and they decide what to do. And once the decision is taken by this council and the villagers, then that work will be done. So that was the system, the a cooperation type of system that we had, still we have in the villages. Now recently in the YouTubes I saw the paddy cultivation is going on in the villages. So the women, particularly the women, the men, they plow and they prepare the land, but the women, they particularly, they will come in a group of 25, 30 or 50, and they will transplant the paddy in the land. So it goes straight. Within few hours, they will finish the work. So this is the cooperation type of work and cooperation type of life that we are having. Any feast and festivals, see, in all the seasons, almost all the months, we have at least one feast. At least one feast we have. And according to the feast, we have songs, we have music, we have dance. So after finishing the work, or if the village has decided that on Saturday evening we'll dance, all the villagers, they will come and they will dance together, they will play their music, and they will tell their stories. So everything goes on community. And that's a beautiful life. No, still I remember how every Saturday we used to dance. As a small child, I used to go, I used to play nice drums. I sang songs with my grandparents, with my friends, and so nice life. And still I cheer, still I sing song, still I play music. So that's how my life and my whole tribal life. Of course, now because of the modern education, there is television or there are movies or there are some other programs are there. So these educated boys and girls, they are losing it. Otherwise, in the villages, still the practice is going on. To support one another, to concern for one another. If I have nothing, somebody can give me anything. Or if I know that somebody needs any help, immediately I will give the help, whatever I can. So this type of community life we have, which is very beautiful, still I feel. And this way, Adivasi can contribute a beautiful way to build up the community, the villages, and to the country. Suppose properly we are organized and we are properly working out. So this way, our social life is very good and enjoyable and very meaningful. Then in slowly, what has happened in our life due to the development process. See, I come from Sundargarh district. There is a Rourkela steel plant. There are big iron ore mining on the hill. There are big coal mining, cement, dolomite. All these big minings are there. So in this development process, now what has happened is the company, they came to my village and they took away my land. Or sometimes the government came and they asked me to give up my land. And that way, many of our people, we lost our land. But of course, easily it was not given. Our people still, they tell me that till when the Rourkela steel plant began in 1954, the people did not want to give the land. But now what happens once the government proposes that there will be plant here, factory here, mining here, then government sends the police and all the administration and everything, and they are suppressed. And finally, tribal have to give the land. So on that process, many people, many tribals have been displaced and they are landless now. which is a very sad thing of Adivasis. And in 2006, in Orissa, in Kalinganagar, they had been living there since centuries. They were cultivating paddy and everything, all the villages were established. And suddenly government proposed that there will be factories and economic development of the state and all the things, proposals were there. And people were vehemently against it. And then people, when they were not ready to give, the police simply blindly they shot at them. And on the spot, almost 14 people were killed. Last year, 2019, in Uttar Pradesh, again a similar case, some land was dispute was there and 13 people were killed. So this way, in the name of economic development, our Adivasi people are displaced, killed, suppressed, and this way there is a misery in the Adivasis. And therefore, we lose our livelihood. And once I lose my land, my place, then I am forced to migrate to the cities. And in the cities, either I will be in the slum, where I didn't want to live anything, I didn't want to live there, but I am forced to live in the slum to make my livelihood. So this way how we are forced to live in the cities and towns today. But very good, again we have to appreciate the government of India. From very beginning in the constitution, we have 5th schedule and 6th schedule. So in this 5th schedule, actually, when we see the constitution, then it says that in that area, there will be, the governance will be the governor. And the tribal chiefs, they will manage the entire thing. So this way, governor and the tribal chiefs, so they will have their governance system. But unfortunately, this is not being implemented. Also in 6th schedule area, that northeast, Assam and Meghalaya and all this area, 6th schedule supposed to be there. But again, that said, it is not being properly governed. We have, in order to protect our land and forest, government enacted again Forest Act, FRA, in 2006, so that Adivasis remain wherever they are. This way how the law has been made. But again, when we see the implementation part, so many Adivasis are chased out. I do not know about Tamil Nadu, but in my area, many of the Adivasis have been chased out. In some areas, the forest departments, they burned the houses of the tribals. Those were remaining in the forest in centuries. So these type of things have also taken place. But the Forest Right Act 2006 does not say like that. You have to ask the permission from the Gram Sabha, the village assembly. And if village assembly agrees, then only the forest department or any department, they can take the land, which is very unfortunately, it is not happening. We have the PESA Act of 1996, the Panchayat Extension to the Scheduled Areas Act, the PESA Act 1996. Again, it says that it is the Gram Sabha, the village assembly, that will govern entire the forest, land, and all the resources. The Gram Sabha is the owner of the resources, natural resources. But again, this is not being implemented. Finally, in order to protect the land, again, Government of India made the last Land Reform Act, that is called Land Rehabilitation and Resettlement Act 2013, the latest one. Here also it is very well, it is said that without the Gram Sabha, no land could be acquired. So this much of power it has given to the Gram Sabha, to the village. But now the corporates, the companies, including the governments in many cases, so they are displacing our tribals, which is a very sad thing. And also this one reminds me that in United Nations, where you see, I have one small booklet. It is written, the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People. The United Nations Declaration on the Rights of the Indigenous People. So here it is beautifully, so many beautiful articles are mentioned, and it is India is a signatory to this in 2007. Just I would like to draw your attention on one article, Article 10 of this one UN DRIP. It says, indigenous peoples shall not be forcibly removed from their lands or territories. No relocation shall take place without the free, prior, and informed consent of the indigenous peoples concerned, and after agreement on just and fair compensation, and where possible, with the option of return. And Government of India has signed in United Nations. So my friends, now this type of very good laws are there, including this one. This is the PESA Act. The PESA Act, in English it is there. So here also the same provisions are there in the provisions of the Panchayat extension to the Scheduled Areas Act 1996. So all these acts, all these laws, they in fact protect and respect the rights, land rights, forest rights, cultural rights of the indigenous people, the Adivasi people, the tribals. But unfortunately, in my own state, in Orissa, many of the Adivasi peoples, many of the indigenous peoples are struggling, and corporates and governments, they are violating these laws, and my brothers and sisters, they are suffering. So this is the reality. And maybe in Tamil Nadu also, similar way, Adivasi brothers and sisters may be struggling. I do not know much. Therefore, what I propose is all the Adivasis in Tamil Nadu, they also should somehow they should come together into a federation. Already Thangaraj Bhai, he is working out that one, which is a very positive thing. In Orissa, what we did with my colleagues, we made Adivasi Darbar. That is Adivasi family, big family. So in Orissa, we are 62 groups of Adivasis are there. So we had contacted almost 48 Adivasi groups, the chiefs, and we came to the Bhubaneswar to meet the governor. Of course, governor did not allow so many people. He allowed 20 of us to meet. So we met and proposed all the things, that these laws are there. These beautiful laws are there, and it is adopted by the government of India. This is by the United States. So like this, we told him, and therefore it should be implemented. And the fifth schedule. So like this, we talked, and of course they talk well, but when the implementation parts comes, then they also wash their hands. So this way, through Adivasi Darbar, we had established the very good rapport and relationship with the governor house. So whenever we used to tell Adivasi Darbar member are coming, so it was opened for us. Or we used to go to any of the departments in the government, so it was open for us. So this way, it was a beautiful atmosphere we had created, and now we have built up. In fact, we have built up here in India national level, Adivasi Samanya Manch, means a tribal coordination front, like. So Adivasi Samanya Manch. So then all the Adivasis we come together. So in fact, last year I was in Mysore on September 13th and 14th. In Mysore University, we had a big gathering. About 4,000 tribals from all over the country, we came together. And yeah, one cabinet minister had come for the meeting. Then 2 vice chancellors from the 2 universities, they came for the meeting. So many professors, so many scholars, researchers, officers. So we had a beautiful meeting. And we talked about all the different issues, particularly the issues from the Karnataka that Adivasis are facing. And we presented the matter. The brothers and sisters of Karnataka, Adivasis, they presented the matter in front of them. And again, this year I had gone in the month of February to same university. I met the professors, and I was happy that the university has opened one shop for the Adivasi people to sell their produces, which is a very positive thing. So this way, how it is going on slowly. So suppose we have the type of interconnection among ourselves, among Adivasis, and we talk to the government and talk to the officer concerned, many things we can resolve. And that's so I wish that in Tamil Nadu also we can have this type of meeting, and we can also resolve some of the issues that our tribal brothers and sisters they face. And also another important thing, that UNESCO, again in UN, UNESCO has declared International Decade of Indigenous Languages from 2022 to 2032. Last year, 2019 was the International Year of Indigenous Languages by UNESCO, UN. So now how the United Nations and UNESCO, they are seeing the Adivasi languages, the indigenous languages and our cultures, which are very, very good actually, very good they are. So they want that suppose we lose our culture, our language, then this earth is losing so much of information, so much of wisdom, and that's what they want to preserve it. So in US, it says that we have to protect, preserve, and revitalize the indigenous languages and cultures. So that way how UNESCO and UN are coming up. So this will be a great thing, my dear brothers and sisters, wherever we are, whatever situation we are living in, forgetting about poverty and misery and all. But suppose once we understand that our culture, our language, our way of living, our lifestyle is very good. Let us preserve it. Let us protect it, and let us revitalize it. So that way, we can maintain our own socio and cultural system. We need not follow others. It is our own socio-cultural languages, all are very good. We need not feel any inferiority. In our Orissa government, when we talked about all these things, they have promoted 19 languages, 19 tribal languages in the curriculum, in the school, in the primary section. So which is a very positive step by the government of Orissa. So because we were talking, 2000 onwards, I have been talking to the government of Orissa. So the ministers, the secretaries, they understood the things. They have introduced, therefore, these 19 languages. So which is positive thing. So I feel in Tamil Nadu also, or in Kerala, or in Karnataka, any place, wherever we are, Adivasis are there. In the primary section, the children could be taught in our own mother tongues. So the children, they will grow in our knowledge, no? If you talk us about elephant, or if you talk us about the trees or monkeys or water or plants, then Adivasi will understand. And suddenly if you talk about mathematics, 1, 2, 4, if you talk like this, or geometry, what they will understand? They will not understand. Children will take time. As I said, I didn't want to study because of this language issue. But slowly, of course, my parents, they encouraged me. They gave me a good atmosphere. They supported me mentally and psychologically. So then I started education. So that way, our Adivasi children, they need to be understood and they need to be taught in their own mother tongues. And you see the wisdom. And this time on 9th of August. 9th of August is very important day. That is International Day of World Indigenous Peoples. It is declared by United Nations in 1994. So that time onwards, this International Day of Indigenous Peoples is being celebrated in the world. So on that day, the Adivasi, they come together, they talk, they share among themselves the different issues, and that way how they are coming together. And it was very good that this time, last year in Delhi, we had a big program. Almost 10,000 people came for 3 days, and from different parts of the country again. And the governor of Chhattisgarh, and the tribal minister of Madhya Pradesh, and other so many officials, so many people, dignitaries, they came. Some people came from Nepal, some came from Bangladesh, all tribals, and they shared among their issues, their problems, how they are trying their best to come up in life. So this way how 9th of August is very important day for the Adivasis. And therefore, may I invite all my Adivasi brothers and sisters in Tamil Nadu, in Kerala, and in Karnataka, because you are all associated with all these 3 states. So all of you could come together, make a group, and talk among yourselves the different issues that you are facing. And we should have dialogue with our own state governments, our officials, and for the solution of our problems and all. And that way how we should build up our community. Of course, economic development is very important. We should work out on that also. As in Mysore, I said the example that the Mysore University has taken initiative to organize the tribals, and now they have also opened one shop for them. So all the tribal producers are coming to the university, and it is being sold here. And our producers are all organic, the pure one. So people, they like it, and they take it, they purchase it. So we have the good things. And therefore, whatever we have, good things, like this is my cloth. This is also made by Adivasis. So I use this one. So this way, we can promote our economic, our socio-cultural education system, our good governance based on the different laws and acts that we have in the country. So we need to take the initiative, and therefore the youth, you may come up and take the leadership to build up your own communities, your own villages, so that really our Adivasi community, they come up in life. I think, Thangaraj, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. And if any questions are there, then I'll be happy to answer. And later on, so we'll continue to keep up this relationship. And I'll be very happy to visit your areas and meet our Adivasi brothers and sisters in Tamil Nadu. So thank you very much for organizing this wonderful meeting on this evening of August 15, Independence Day of our country. Jai Hind, Jai Adivasi.
Jagar. Thank you, Nicholas G. Have a good introduction about your life, and especially about what is the situation in the, especially in the Odisha, the cultural richness, what are the problems that are facing in the name of development. A lot of things you are gave today. This is a question hour. We are going to the question. நண்பர்களே, நம்ம இப்போ கேள்விக்கு போகலாம். நிறைய அற்புதமான தகவல்களை நம்ம ஃபாதர் வழக்கறிஞர் நிக்கோலஸ் பார்லா அவர்கள் நம்ம முன்னாடி வச்சிருக்கிறாங்க. ஒரு மிகப்பெரிய 30 ஆண்டு அனுபவங்களுக்கு சொந்தக்காரரு. அவர் பல்வேறு தளங்கள்ல அவர் பணியாற்றி இருக்கிறார். சாதாரண ஒரு ஆதிவாசி கிராமத்துல பிறந்து அவரோட உரையில நம்ம அதை கேட்டோம். பல லெவல்கள்ல, அட்வொகேசி லாபி லெவல்ல, பல அமைச்சராக முடிவெடுக்கக்கூடிய, பழங்குடிகளுக்காக முடிவெடுக்கக்கூடிய அதிகார முக்கியத்துவம் வாய்ந்த இடங்களெல்லாம் அவர் பணியாற்றி இருக்கிறார். ஸோ அவர்கிட்ட நம்ம நேரடியாக கேள்விகளை வைக்கலாம். பல்வேறு விஷயங்களை பேசியிருக்கிறாங்க. வளர்ச்சிகளை பத்தி, மொழிகளை பத்தி, மாற்று பொருளாதார திட்டங்களை பத்தி நிறைய விஷயங்களை ஃபாதர் முன் வச்சிருக்கிறாங்க. நம்ம கேள்விகளுக்கு போகலாம். முதல்ல சுரேஷ்குமார் நாகராஜன் கேள்வி வச்சிருக்கிறாங்க. தொடர் உங்க கேள்வி வைங்க. கேளுங்கண்ணா. சுரேஷ்குமார் நாகராஜன் கேளுங்க, உங்க கேள்வி கேளுங்க. அன்மியூட் பண்ணிட்டு கேளுங்க. சுரேஷ்குமார் நாகராஜன் அண்ணா, நீங்க கேட்கலாம். ஓகே. ஓகே.
நமஸ்தே. Nicholas ji, namaste. Am I audible to you?
बोलिए. हाँ. Yeah, good evening. Namaste.
Good evening, sir. Sir, I listened to your speech. It is very extraordinary. And I have one question in that. After the independence, since the independence as of today, is there any, do you believe that our system of constitution is helping the Adivasi people, or it is only for the people who are not concerned about the Adivasi people who so called as tribes? Because the mainstream people and the tribes are not supporting, we are not concerned about your problems, and in mainstream we are not close together. We thought that okay, it is Adivasi problem, it is their problem. We are not at all concerned about your problems in our so-called our history. So why this difference or lagging between us? The mainstream people never think about the problems of Adivasis, or we are not able, we never support, or we are never concerned about the difficulties, their necessities. Whether the constitution or the politics make the difference, so that we are enjoying from you and we are not supporting you. For example, the industries which we are setting up in the tribal areas, and we are using the environmental and support of them, but we are not helping them to promote or develop. So I feel that we are doing some discrimination to the tribals. It is unfair. I totally accept it is unfair. But why the mainstream people not concerned about the tribals of our brothers, and why we are not uplifting? We think that there is some gap between mainstream people and tribals. So can you put some your light of your knowledge to on that?
Yeah, good question. Yeah. How we'll do in Thanraj, we'll take some questions like this. 1, 2,
Yeah,
3 questions, then we'll ask, or
yeah,
one by one.
Yeah, one by one. We can
Okay.
go through one by one.
This question was asked by Dr. Who asked? Sorry.
He is Suresh Kumar Nagarajan. He was
Suresh
working
Kumar.
with,
Okay.
Suresh Kumar
Suresh.
Nagarajan.
Yeah, Suresh. Okay, Suresh ji, nice, very good question. Yeah. So the question was nice that the mainstreaming groups or so-called civilized or developed group, why they are not so much concerned about the tribals, though they are utilizing their land, forest, and resources and all. That's a beautiful question. See, somehow I feel this is a very important question for our country, all over, everywhere. Because everywhere we see the Adivasis are economically, suppose we see, so they are almost 46% of Adivasis are below poverty line. And I have also seen in Orissa itself, the richest mines and mineral resource district called Keonjhar. So there only they extract huge amount of resources like bauxite and iron ore and everything. Means really very big amount they get, the state gets and central gets a huge amount of money. But in the same district, the poorest of the poor they remain. So why is there why the mainstream group or the civilized group, they are not concerned about the Adivasis? Very valid question. For me, as I see, there are some special gaps are there actually. Like I explained about the 5th schedule. I explained about the Forest Right Act, the PESA Act, and Land Acquisition Act 2013. So this type of protective acts are there. And most of the like Forest Right Act, PESA Act, and this Land Right Act. In all these 3 acts, it is very clearly mentioned that it is the decision of the Gram Sabha. So it should be the state or the companies or the mainstream groups. They should listen to the Gram Sabha. But what is happening is they are bypassing, or they are bypassing. They do not bother about the Gram Sabha, though the law is there. They do not bother about these people. Even this mines minerals district fund, it has come in 2011 or 12 it came. And in this act also it is very clearly it is mentioned that you discuss with the Gram Sabha, and whatever money is there, profit is there, according to their plan, their suggestion, the money should be implemented. But what the state did is it is up to the district collector. He has to decide. So district collector decides that in the district there should be a hospital in the district headquarter or some block headquarter or some here like that. So the real affected people are not beneficiaries. And this is a big gap within the administrative system that we have. So that's so, unless and until the inclusion system of administration and governance systems we develop, the Adivasis, because we are not vocals. And it is I am educated, but my lakhs and lakhs of brothers and sisters are uneducated. Who will speak for them? So this is a big gap that we have. So there needs to be a to bridge the gap between the administrative system and the mainstream groups or development groups, to bridge the gap by implementing this type of protective laws and rules that are existing in the country and in the state, that one we have to we have to put forth. Together with that, almost in each state, this type of special provisions are there for the tribals, which has to be also taken into account. And therefore, the political leaders, the bureaucrats, and good intellectuals, professors and all, we need to support the tribals in this type of conflict situations, so that these tribals, they're also taken into account, and they also are part of development. Not only take their resources, but they should be part of the development. So this has to be taken into account. Yeah, thank you very much, Sureshji.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Jay.
Nikhil.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. அடுத்த கேள்வி போலாமா? அடுத்த கேள்வி போலாம். யார் இருக்கீங்க? கேள்வி தமிழ்ல கேட்டோம்னா நம்ம மொழி மாற்றி சொல்லிடலாம். எஸ்.
The draft published by the government, how it is suppressing the Adivasis rights and Adivasis livelihood.
That question was not clear, Thanrajji.
Yogesh, you can ask again because it was not proper network. Please ask again.
Okay, please, once more, please, sir. I did not hear properly.
Is it audible, sir?
Okay, now it is okay. Now it is okay. No, not clear.
No, Yogesh.
No, not clear.
Yogesh, you can find a good network.
Yeah.
Please.
I put my question in chat.
Now you okay, ma? Now okay.
Okay.
Now better.
Yeah.
Yogesh?
I just want to know the recently published Environmental Impact Assessment Act, EIA Act, that was the draft was published by the government. How it is suppressing the Adivasi rights and any new thing about the livelihood of Adivasi, how it is going to affect?
Yeah. Thank you very much. You see, EIA, Environmental Impact Assessment, is very important. Yeah, see, that's so we have to understand actually the environment, and this is not only of the impact is not only in India, but it is in the global level. No, that's so there was a big meeting in Paris, and where our prime ministers and all the world leaders, they came together, and so many agreements they made that we have to protect the environment. But what is happening now? So like in India, now our own prime minister, honorable prime minister, he had gone in to Paris meeting, and very nice way it was discussed, and almost he took the leadership. But what is happening in India is now in the name of development. Same thing again for mining or some big industries. So now government of India has almost leased 41 coal mines. So you can imagine, and all these minings are in the scheduled areas, the tribal areas. And again, the same laws, no? The Forest Right Act, the PESA Act, the Land Right Act, all these acts are there in the same places. So one side, you are telling as government that I am protecting you and I have given you this type of laws, but at the same time, when you make that Environment Impact Assessment Act and changing some of the laws, so how it will be reconciled? One way you are telling, yes, I will protect you, I have given this type of laws, and now you are making new law and you are telling, no, Gram Sabha has nothing to say. So again, you are taking my right. And again, I am uneducated. I am a forest man. I do not know what environment impact assessment law is. Who knows up in the villages? Now you and me, we are educated people, so we know. Oh, this is going to happen, so we know it. But what does the villager who is living in the forest, who is living in the coal mining area or in the bauxite mining area or iron ore mining area, who knows about this one? Nobody knows. And so the government itself is bringing up this type of new amendments, new laws, and the protective chapters like I read out here in the one of the laws from the this book. I said the indigenous people shall not be forcibly removed from their lands or territories. No relocation shall take place without the free, prior, and informed consent. So this type of law you are signing, you are agreeing, and at the same time, now you are bringing an amendment and you are taking my land very easy way. So this is how to accept. So naturally there will be conflict. The tribals, they will not give easily land. So again, the government will use the police force and they will kill our Adivasi people. So that's how it is going to happen. So in this the PESA Act, in the PESA Act, it says that PESA Act 4D, it says, every Gram Sabha shall be competent to safeguard and preserve the traditions and customs of the people, their cultural identity, community resources. So you see, the community resources. So the forest, which is close to my village, the land which is close to my village or in my village area, and there beneath is the coal mine or iron ore or bauxite. And if you are coming here to take the bauxite or iron ore, then naturally you should follow this law. But government is not following this law and he is bringing some other law now. So Gram Sabha is not needed. So now which law to implement here? So this is the whole problem in India. And therefore, persons like you, persons like me, and those who are educated people, we should be able to talk to the government. Or now still some negotiations are going on, so many petitions, so many applications are being written to the government to consider it, to change this EIA. So all things are going on. So I am sure if the government will, and the government of Jharkhand, government of Chhattisgarh and Maharashtra, these three states, they have gone to the Supreme Court against this EIA. So this way, see, government also, state government also, they feel that there will be conflict between the people and them. So that way they went to the Supreme Court to nullify this act. So now we should be able to, all the educated people, no matter, so that's so, it is not only the Adivasi will be affected with this type of law, you see. It is Adivasi and non-Adivasi. All will be affected with this law. Because once you fell the trees, there will be desert, there will be less rain, the pollution will be more. So all of us will be affected. It is not only Adivasi, all of us will be affected. Entire atmosphere, entire environment will be affected. And it is being affected because of these mines and this type of unmined development process that is going on. So entire world is being suffering because of this. So we should keep in mind, and therefore the beautiful of the global leaders that came in Paris and they talked about it, and they have taken the resolution to minimize the carbon, to minimize the mining and extractive activities, so that environment has a sorts of balance is there, and people are not affected. The environment is safeguarded. So that way how it is being done. So similar way, we have to have that dialogue with the government to make them understand that it is not only Adivasis, but all of us will be affected with this. So that way the mainstream people also, they can join with us. They support the Adivasis, because Adivasis are directly, they are going to have the negative consequences. The impact will be directly on the Adivasis. Indirectly, tomorrow, non-Adivasis will be impacted. So we should understand that one. So when this type of common cause comes, then all of us, we should join together, tribals and non-tribals, mainstream and non-mainstream. All of us, we should join together. So that way how I look at it, sir. Thank you.
Thank you,
sir.
Ji.
I have an additional question just
Yeah.
connected to this.
Yeah.
What do you feel? What do you please elaborate? Is there any representation of Adivasis in major political reforms or like that? To be clear, if mining project or if a construction project is going to be held, there will be a committee of engineers like that to be consulted. So the acts related to Adivasis are does that being consulted with Adivasis, or is there any sufficient representation from Adivasis in our country?
Mhm.
If not, what steps should be taken to make this for this government to consult Adivasis representation?
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, actually, that's so in 2016, we came in a national level, we had come to Delhi from all parts of the country, and we presented a memorandum to the president, and copies were given to the prime minister and the home minister on this matters only, on good governance in the scheduled areas, in the tribal areas. That the president, with the president, there should be a team of Adivasis, intellectual Adivasis, who could be with the president. And also there could be another group of intellectuals with the prime minister, and also another group of tribal intellectuals in the state level. So who could give good advice to the President of India, Prime Minister of India, Governor and Chief Ministers of the respective states concerning this type of conflicts. And so far, actually, in India, we do not have. Only we have is this law, the PESA Act, the Forest Right Act, and Land Right Act. In these three acts, but it has not given, in the state level, how to do it has not given. Only in the Gram Sabha level, the lowest level, the Gram Sabha has the power to say yes or no. But there is no legal matter or legal body to talk in the with the governor and with the chief minister to dialogue on such type of conflict situation and to come to a solution. It is not there, unfortunately. So we have presented this matter to the President of India in 2016, and also the Prime Minister and Home Minister about it. But what happens now? Say it goes, and then the Honorable President, he does not invite again, and also we tribals also will also give up, and the conflict remains. So this is how it is happening, and therefore with the but many presentations, representations are being given like this, based on the all local area, no? Like I remember on EIA, there are so many petitions they have filed from different areas. In Jharkhand, I remember, Odisha, I remember, Chhattisgarh, I remember. Many villages, even villages, they have sent their appeal against this EIA Act. So this is there. So And in other countries, what is happening? So that's one we have to learn. Like in Canada and in America, there are the tribal council is there. So, and in Norway, in fact, they have one parliament. They have Adivasi parliament. They have Sami parliament. They have in Norway. So in America and Canada, the tribal council, they see to it that if these laws are there, how it will be impacted to the tribal people. If it will be negatively impact, there will be impact, then they will say, no, you have to change the law. And government, they do it. In Norway, some parliament, they discuss the things, the matter, and they ask the Norway government to change the law. So this is how in other countries it is taking place. So in India also, it should be like that. 5th schedule and 6th schedule we have in the constitution. But unfortunately, and in the 5th schedule, the governor should write report about the Adivasis, their situation, and submit annual report to the President of India. But unfortunately, this is also not happening. So tribals have almost, they do not exist like, no. And the constitutional, whatever constitutional provisions are there, they are not being implemented. So this is a big issue. So slowly, like this, talking, dialoguing, learning from one another, we can build up this type of councils in the, suppose in Tamil Nadu, then we can have Tamil Nadu Adivasi Council, Orissa Adivasi Darbar or Adivasi Council. Then we can dialogue with the governor, we can dialogue with the President of India, and this way how can resolve the conflict things. So this way it is required now. In fact, we have the laws actually. We have the laws. So this law should be implemented in both letter and in spirit. So it has to be done. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Excellent. Excellent, Nicholas Ji. You are connecting the parliament in Canada, the Sami tribes. There are, we called Eskimokel. They didn't like that. They called Eskimokel. It's good example. So the next question, Mr. Rajendran. He is a linguistic person. You want to ask something, Rajendran, sir?
Unmute பண்ணுங்க. Okay. Yes, sir, this is thank you for your wonderful speech. Sir, my name is Rajendran.
Yeah.
My question is, so you in Odisha you speak different tribal language. So what is the status of tribal languages because of the influence of the outsiders coming into tribal area? People are going out from the tribal area, and are they still speaking the language, and is it alive or it is in the stage of dying? So this is, language is an important part of enhancing and keeping the culture forever. So I want to know this.
Yeah.
Rajendran sir, உங்களை பத்தி introduce பண்ணிக்காங்க briefly, please.
I was 20 years back. I was in Gujarat. I was involved in a tribal language research.
Oh, okay.
I have done a phonological and grammatical analysis of language called Gamit. About the 4 lakhs people are speaking the language. I worked there for 6 years. I lived among the tribal for 6 years. So this is my field related.
Wonderful, wonderful, sir. So you have deep experience on that. Yeah. So yeah, this is very important part. Yeah, as a linguistic, you must have it is a linguistic. Those who are really, they are into it and they understand the issue of language. Because I also did not understand. Only today I realize when my parents were sending me to school, why I was not ready to go to school, I realized, no, because of the language I didn't want, because Oriya I did not like. I had never heard Oriya. And if my teachers started teaching me Oriya, which one I did not understand, and then I did not study, did not take interest. And they said my parents, they were scolding. So they said my teachers were beating me, scolding me. My parents were beating me. So the problem of the children were not addressed at all. So this is a very big problem with the language in our education system. So today I understand well, because of course I did not study linguistic and all the things, but so many sociological books and tribal books and anthropological books I studied. So I understand what you are questioning. So that's so actually rightly UNESCO declared 2019 as International Year of Indigenous Languages.
Yes.
And precisely, it was very good. So I read some of the articles and their thoughts and all the things, and I also talked to some of them. So I understand. So today what is happening, sir? See, the dominant, like in my area, in Sundargarh district, in Raurkela area, there are so many education schools and colleges and all are, they are talking in English and Hindi like this, me. And so what is happening? So suppose the Adivasi in the village, they are speaking in their Sadri or Ura or Munda or Santali or Gondi, then these educated people, they feel strange. Oh, who are these people? So they have a very negative look at this Adivasi languages. So as a child or as a person, if we are conscious, then naturally we feel, oh my goodness, my language is so bad. My culture is so bad. So that way natural feeling will be there. So unfortunately, this influence is there on the Adivasis, because the mainstreaming group, the modern educated group, they have looked the Adivasi language, their culture, their social system, their tradition, their practices, their dance and music and all that, something downgrade. They are not good. So this way they have looked it. And so what happens as an Adivasi boy or girl, I will try to learn, even though I do not know, I will try to learn this English and Hindi or some other languages which are popular, so that I am not counted in my Adivasi language. So this is how tension is there within the Adivasis. I had also the same tension. I told you, I didn't want to go to school because of this language. But my parents they were pushing me, study, my son, you go, no problem. Like this, they were pushing me and they pushed me, and thanks to them, so I managed. But today I understand well, and that's so in 2011 or 12 somewhere, when I started talking to the governor of Orissa, that time itself, 8, 9, 10 years back, I told that my village is in the forest, and you want that I should speak Oriya and English and Hindi, how it is possible? So it should be taught in my language, like this straight we talked. So then that time onwards means that consultation was going on, how to do this one, because tribals have so many languages and how to teach and all the things came. So you decide now, you should, but there should be some sorts of decision-making process you should have. So after talking so many times, then slowly some of the secretaries, they understood it. And now they started, in the beginning, they had started with only 4 languages. The Munda, Urao, Kharia, and one more, Santali. Yeah, 4 languages they had begun. So that was the beginning, maybe 5 years or 6 years back. But last year, no, before last year, I think it was 2017 or somewhere, they made 19 languages. So this way, suppose we have the dialogue then, and it is understood by the mainstream people, then slowly this type of teaching by our own mother tongues in Adivasi languages, it is possible. So this is the stage where we are, and the influence on the educated boys and girls, it has very negative impact, in fact, because now in the towns and all, the Adivasi boys and girls also, they do not like to speak their own languages. It is not that they do not like, but it is the mainstream groups, how they look at them. But unless and until they are really, they come up that let them tell, let me speak in my language, what is there? If unless and until strongly they come up, they are proud of themselves as Adivasis, so they will try to hide the feelings that they have. So that is how it is still there. So now slowly we are talking about this one. Since through UNESCO, we learned that International of Indigenous Languages and the decade of international indigenous languages we heard, then we are very happy, and we are going to talk this one in all the states, that in our mother tongue we should be taught. Our in the education, at least in some of the syllabus, our own curriculum should be there. So that way how we are thinking, but we have to still work it out. So this is the stage that we are having now. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
We can talk, Rajendranji, more actually, how you can help us, at least in Tamil Nadu, how it could be worked it out. Suppose you give some idea, then definitely we can have that dialogue with the government, and in some of the groups, tribal groups, we can talk and how they can lead. Because in Jharkhand, I remember in Jharkhand there is a Kuruk school, my own tribe, the Urao group. One individual and one family, they brought up the school, and it has gone up to +2, and they learn their own language, Kuruk and English. These two languages are taught, Kuruk and English directly. So these boys and girls, they excel in the entire state. They get first class and all, 100% result, very good result in their own language and English. So they can compete. And last 2 years, I saw in the Facebook and all, I saw from the same school, some boys and girls are in America, they are studying. So it is not anything, but it is how the children, they grasp the knowledge, how the knowledge or education gives them confidence. So surely once these children, Adivasis, are given the opportunity, they can come up in life. No doubt on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicholas ji. Mr. Rajendra closely associated with us. He was part of Ekta Parishat and all.
Okay.
So
okay.
surely we will take
Yeah.
some good process in Tamil Nadu.
Yeah.
So வேற ஏதாவது கேள்விகள் இருக்குதா?
இருக்குங்க அண்ணா.
வாங்கண்ணா, வீரப்பண்ணா.
Good evening, Father. I am Veerappan from Tamil Nadu. Any idea you have, Father, to start core group for start tribal welfare schemes, welfare rights based, like example of hill area development program or hilly tribes development? That's the meaning. Another one, how to feel the triangle government, forest department, revenue department, how to feel that one. Next one, the ST commission, national ST commission, how to strong to actively participate or actively legally supported to our people. How to feel, Father?
So Mr. Veerappan is he was earlier days he was part of ICAF movement. He studied in Trichy St. Joseph College, and he was last 25 years he was working with the tribal community in the Western Hills area. He is not true tribal language also.
Yeah. This is very important. Yeah, all
Thank
National
you.
Tribal Commission and different departments like Forest Department, Hill Development, welfare groups and all. Yeah, actually, in central level, for the development of the tribals, we have a National Scheduled Tribe Commission, And yeah, I am very closely associated with them actually since yeah, in 2000 onwards, I was actually very much close to associate with them and give all the grievances to this National Scheduled Tribe Commission only for all the grievances of Orissa. And since he knew, because one Dr. B.D. Sharma, he was the commissioner in the beginning in 1987, 90s, those days. He was commissioner, so somehow with the Pesait, we became friends, and he used to come to Orissa very often. Then that time onwards, I have the link with the National Tribal Commission. Then I understood, yeah. So for all the problems, actually, I write to this commission only. So what this commission he does is, immediately he will write to the chief secretary of the state that this petition has come from this person from this village, and this is the issue. So kindly see to it, like that. So immediately, okay, then the copy used to come to us. So we knew that the letter has gone to the secretary, state secretary, and copy to me. So immediately we write to the secretary, sir, what happened about this letter sent by National Scheduled Tribe Commission? So then he was bound to give the answer, or he will take the action. So like that. And if he was not writing to us, or he was not taking any action, then we to write back again to the Scheduled Tribe Commission that so far 3 months are over. We wrote one letter like this, 2 letters we wrote, 3 letters we wrote. He does not respond, and he is not interested. It looks, and we are facing this type of problem continuously. So then again in the 5th or 6th months, again some letter will come. So that way there was a push from the Scheduled Tribe Commission to the state chief secretary, and chief secretary, he is supposed to take the action through the district commissioner, district collector, and to resolve this type of different tribal issues. So that way I have a very good experience. Some of the good actions were taken by the district collector, because the chief secretary had to write to the collector, and that way how things were happening. With regard to the development, yeah, like in Orissa, we have like particular vulnerable tribal groups, PVTGs. PVTGs groups there are, and there are very specific project for this group of people, because they are really in the dense forest or on the hills, and their situation is really very vulnerable. And therefore government has rightly called it particular vulnerable tribal groups. And if this type of groups are there in any state, actually we should support this type of groups, because they are really in the vulnerable situation in different ways. And we should help them to reach to the, again, same chief secretary or tribal department or whichever department. And if there are schemes, then schemes could be implemented properly. And yeah, so this way how it could be done. In Orissa, what I did, I brought about 14 different particular vulnerable groups to the state. So these people, they came out from the forest for the first time in life. And I told, this is the chief officer, the tribal commissioner. I showed him, this is the main person for the tribal development, like that I said. And I told the commissioner, these are the particular vulnerable tribe, those who have come for the first time out of their village. And you ask them how they are and what they are doing, or what they are getting or not getting. So these people, the commissioner asked, do you get ration? Like that he asked. These people said, what is that ration? Then do you get that some rice? Nobody gives us. Then this commissioner, they understood, my goodness. So all the schemes of the government is not reaching to the people. So first time, any commissioner realized that this type of vulnerable, particular vulnerable tribal groups, that do not get any schemes. So many of the schemes are there, but it does not reach to the real people. So then immediately he instructed, so was a which district, from which district, like that they said, he asked, then okay, so we'll work it out. So then they made me to mediate, to keep the contact with them, and ask their problems and issue, and immediately report to them. So this way how we made the network. So that way how actually these people now, because they are also not educated, their situation is very vulnerable. And suppose we do not support this type of vulnerable people, definitely the people will have very hard time. So suppose you people are there, I think we should develop this type of relationship and community leadership we should develop, and we should have good rapport with the departments, and we could help out the people. So this is my experience, sir. So how we built up the rapport with the government, and we help this type of particular tribal group, those who are really very vulnerable. So it could be done. It could be done, and report could be sent to the National Scheduled Tribe Commission in Delhi, and
Thank you.
it works. Yeah, thank you.
இன்னும் நம்ம 2 கேள்விகள் எடுத்துக்கலாம். மிஸ்டர் சுரேஷ்குமார் நாகராஜன் மறுபடியும் ஒரு கேள்வி கேட்டிருக்கிறாங்க. சார் ப்ளீஸ். சுரேஷ்குமார் நாகராஜன் சார் இருக்கீங்களா? ஓகே. உங்களோட
yes sir, sorry, am I audible sir?
Yeah, sure.
Nicholas Ji, I'm not sure whether it is a right time to ask this question.
Okay, go ahead, please. Go ahead.
What are the measures or steps taken to safeguard or promote the traditional knowledge of tribes in the area of herbal health or forest preservation, food, and eco-friendly habitations like building huts, etc.? Do you think that is there any knowledge which is acquired in tribal community needs to reform in current situation? So, because we know that there are so self-sustainable knowledge is having with tribals, I don't think they are insufficient. But do you think that anything to be reformed or anything to be added? And one more thing, what are the steps taken to safeguard that traditional knowledge? Because they have very good herbal knowledge and forest and food preservation and building eco huts like that. So these things, how you are preserving and how you are sharing to common mainstream. So these 2 questions I want from you to answer this.
Oh, that's a beautiful question, sir. Yeah, nice. Very important question. The tribal traditional knowledge system, no, and safeguard the knowledge and experiences, herbs and treatments and eco huts and all. This is actually when we see the entire life of the tribals, they have been living in the forest, including people are living in the forest with animals, no, tigers and elephants and all are together. In my area, in Orissa also we have, no, the elephants will be there only close by, but there is no problem absolutely. Elephant will go its own way, people will be working in their way, and when the elephant will go which direction, people they know it, so just they give him the place. So this type of traditional knowledge that we have, and that medicine and the treatment, physical treatment for different diseases, they're so beautiful and so much rich in them actually, no. Now, if you ask me, I know what medicine to give if snake bites them, and they'll be cured. I know them. I have given these medicines. I have treated them. I have seen that people lived. So now, unfortunately, what is happening now with the whole development of all the big medical colleges and this allopathy and all this type of scientific things, our all these herbalitical medicines and the natural system of treatment and having good health and all, slowly people are giving up, and government also is discouraging. The system is discouraging rather. So actually, of course, slowly government is knowing, because we have now Ayush and all these things are coming up. So there is some positive sign that it could be developed. But for me, if you ask me particularly on this line, I see in my own villages, there are very good healers. We will not call village doctors, we may call, but yeah, scientifically you cannot call them doctors, but very good healers are there. They treat any patients come, no? I have seen people broken their hands. You will not believe, I have broken this part of my hand as a child, and I did not go to the hospital. My mother, they took me to one of the healers, and he gave something and he tied me like this, and within 21 days it got healed. Again I went to the school. So this type of things are there, and therefore it is actually within our circle, among the tribals, we are working out actually with even once in 2017 or 18, about 65 doctors, Adivasi doctors, we came to Delhi to discuss about this matter. What are the sicknesses that we have, and what are the treatments in allopathy system and in our the traditional knowledge system. So both doctors were there. Our allopathy doctors, MBBS, and they said the village doctors, they were also there. So the village doctors, we had asked them to bring the medicines. So they brought the different roots, fruits, seeds, and flowers, and leaves, and all they brought. And they started narrating. If any bone is broken, we give this medicine, and within 1 month or 2 months, it will be all right. Like that they said. And any snake bite or anything, this type of things, dog bites, then this medicine is given, you will be all right. So this way, how they were narrating. So then, okay, suppose government does not support this type of things, then how we can build up among ourselves? So that was the idea. So that therefore we brought them together, and we should develop it. We should enhance this type of treatment among the tribals, because now if you go to the doctor or hospital, only thousands and lakhs. Now Adivasi, we cannot pay so much. So we have good system, but it is not developed. We need to develop it. And therefore we are working out actually, in fact, now recently in Gujarat, Gujarat, there is, they have problem of sickle cell and all, they said. Then we have found out some people, some good doctors, good healers, they said that they can heal this type of sickness also. So we are sitting with the Gujarat Adivasi doctors and this type of our ordinary village healers together, and we should come out, we should work well. So that way, how we suppose government is trying, because Ayush is already there, and we also will try, and we also will negotiate with the government that how they could support us, that the traditional healing system and traditional knowledge system that we have in Adivasis, we can preserve it, we keep it up, and we can hand it over to the next generation. So we'll work it out, sir. We'll not give up, because I am sure, I am convinced that this works, and therefore we should come up. Now, among you also there will be many in Tamil Nadu, in Kerala there are many, I know. So we should work it out together, and we should come up actually. And then slowly government will come to us. Government will not leave us. Government will come to us, but we have to work properly together. That way how I see, sir. Thank you.
Sir, welcome. I'm from Devendran from Neyveli.
No.
Sir, I am tribal in Irulas.
Acha, Irula, yeah.
Sir, my grandfather name is Sengaman, who is a snake bite treatment without any knowledge.
Mhm.
He lived many more about the years, nearby 9900 nearby too. But
Mhm.
that time he not having any no, letters in Tamil and English, but the traditional knowledge only he is having. But in the death condition also, I saw that in my childhood time, somebody dead condition, some people come to my uh,
Family.
house
Yeah.
for treatment, doctors can't able to treatment him, go for a other transfer to Jipmer hospital, like
Yeah.
that. They don't go for a Jipmer hospital, they come to my doctor, say, my
Father.
grandfather.
Yeah.
See, Dr. Ramadas said, I told the Ramadas said, you go for a Jipmer treatment. But they don't go for Jipmer treatment. The village people comes to my grandfather.
Yeah.
Within a 1 hour,
Mm.
that people living get to the condition, well condition.
Uh-huh.
So this knowledge is, I after that I go for a Irla Tribal Women's Society. The some peoples come from my in childhood. Some people's English, what is US peoples, like that. Other country peoples come to get from my knowledge, how you are working, treatment, medicine using, like that. One time I go for a that area, one in the in a, there is a one library. I just like that open my grandfather name is there. I shocked. I shocked. Oh,
Yeah.
what is this? I don't able to get the for the last year. I tried to get the book. What is that book? I forgot it. But for the 10 years, I told this is happening 10 years back. But I need by that time I am going for that. There is no. I can't able to. What is that book? I can't able to. But that this organizer is that is Mr. Krishnan. Have you know? I don't. I can't able to. Have you know that? I thank the people. That time, one time I go for a certificate for verification. Till now, I am not getting the my certificate from the central government to me. I am joined 2003. Till now, I can't return my. He can't return my certificate. Some what's problem like that happened. But that time last 6 months ago in Monorail Turai, the people comes like that happens. So the same words. When I get the process, they what they doing, the same process is like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the beautiful
So
experience.
till now I am not getting my return my certificate.
Yeah.
Like that. I want to.
Yeah. Because government has its own system.
Okay,
See, it has own curriculum and it's state by state will give, and yeah, it takes a long time and all. Now, but the beautiful thing that you are or Adivasi works this type of very good work without certificate. You see, so that's the beauty of our Adivasis. We do not require certificate, but we'll work. We'll heal the people. We'll do well-being of the people. So that's the beauty of Adivasi. And suppose that's so. Right people should be in the right position. That's the whole problem. Suppose we have good person in the government, some secretary or something, and also to communicate with the government from our villages, we should have also someone so that they can communicate each other. We can build up the offices in different states. So still now, see, we have also not developed like that, because we talk like this. We sometimes will give paper to the government and it remains there. And in the government section, what happens? They will be changing from one page to the other. So then entire thing will be, again, it will be put somewhere aside. So that is how government system is functioning. So suppose some sorts of our Adivasi council, tribal council, suppose we develop in each state, then we can keep up this type of traditional things. Let it be traditional knowledge system or this type of healing system that we have. We can preserve it, we can promote it, and we can revitalize. We can research, and we can find out the many more things. The lost wisdom we can find out. So that way there is opportunity that we can work it out. So let's say with Thanaraj, we can work it out. Let us say how we can go ahead. Because these are very important points that you are bringing out, and it is needed actually to revive it. Yeah. Okay, thank you very much, Devarajan. So you continue to do the good work without certificate, no problem. Yeah.
டாக்டர் ஞானேஸ்வரன் சார், உங்க கேள்வி வைங்க. டாக்டர் ஞானேஸ்வரன் கேள்வியில் இருக்கீங்களா?
சார் இல்ல சார், ஒன்றும் கொஸ்டின்ஸ் இல்லை சார்.
ஓகே சார். ஸோ vote of thanks, யோகேஷ். யோகேஷ் இருக்கீங்களா? This sir.
இருக்கேன். Yes, thank you.
Okay.
So very thank you. We have
யோகேஷ் கொஞ்சம் ஆடியோ சிக்னல் நல்லா இருக்கிற இடத்துல பேசுங்க. யோகேஷ் ஆடியோ சரியில்லை கொஞ்சம்.
Just a minute.
Yeah, now okay.
Is it audible now? கேக்குதா?
Yeah.
Sure. Sir, very thank you, sir. Very thank you. We had many informations about Adivasi's life from you today. Then many we can understand how much struggle you have went through, and how much dialogues you have made to make this government to hear the Adivasi's voice, and it's really inspiring for us. The history of Adivasis that you told today were entirely new informations for us, and what is hurting is even after 74 years, Adivasis' voices are not heard, and the common public is also unaware about the Adivasis' life and their importance to this land. So we'll continuously work. We'll make many new dialogues, many new interactions about Adivasis, and we'll make public listen to Adivasis and stand for them, and we'll do this job continuously, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Nice, very much it is needed, and thank you very much for this thought. Yeah, that's what it is needed. Yeah.
Thank you, Nicholas Ji. Thank you.
Yeah, so thank you very much to Thanaraj Ji, and for all the viewers, and all the experts that you raised so many questions, beautiful questions you raised, and it was wonderful. So hopefully we'll meet in Thanaraj place somewhere, and we'll talk about more, and we should organize.
Yes, definitely.
So thank you very much.
Work together in future.
Yeah,
thank
definitely.
you. எல்லாருக்கும் நன்றி. நாளைய நிகழ்வு முனைவர் லெனின் ஆண்டனி அட்டப்பாடியிலிருந்து நாளைக்கு வந்து அட்டப்பாடியும் ஆதிவாசிங்கிற தலைப்புல பேசுறாங்க. முனைவர் லெனின் ஆண்டனி கிட்டத்தட்ட ஒரு 20 ஆண்டுகளுக்கு மேலாக பழங்குடி மக்களுடைய உரிமைகளுக்காகவும் அவர்களுடைய கலாச்சாரங்களை பாதுகாக்கிறதுக்காகவும் பணியாற்றிக்கிட்டு இருக்கிறாங்க. ஏராளமான ஆதிவாசி பாடல்களை பதிவு செய்தவர், பாடுபவர். அவரை இந்த நிகழ்வுல தொடர்கிறாங்க. அனைவரும் தொடர்ந்து இந்த நிகழ்வுக்கு ஒத்துழைப்பும் ஆதரவும் தருமாறு வேண்டிக் கொள்கிறேன். நன்றி, வணக்கம்.
Thank you, Father. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, nice.